Welcome to The Truth, conversations no one likes to have. I'm your host, Minister Shawana Smiley, and today I'm talking to the lady with the plan. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Truth. Again, I'm your host, Minister Shawana Smiley. Today, I'm talking to the lady with the plan, Ashley McDonald, who is running for ECUA District 3 here in Pensacola, Florida. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so happy that you came on to The Truth today to share your story and share why you are running for ECUA in District 3. So, many times we see people running for different offices, whether it be president, vice president, ECUA, county commissioner, and we understand that they have plans, but we also want to know the person behind the plan. So can you share with the audience today, who is Ashley McDonald?
Absolutely. I would love to. So Ashley McDonald, I would just say, is a regular person just like you and just like anyone else in our community.
Yes.
I'm a wife. I am faithful to my church, Adoration
Amen.
for a New Beginning. I'm over our hospitality committee.
Oh, wow.
I love giving back to the community, whether it's through food giveaways, giving away resources. For example, if some folks need money resources, if they need job opportunity resources, I just love to give back because that's how I was raised. My mother, she was a chef for 25 plus years, and she just always instilled in me giving back to the community. I just remember growing up, she would cook these huge meals because she was one of 5 siblings. So she had to cook for her siblings.
Wow.
So she would make these huge meals and invite everyone over, family, friends, like anyone in need. She was always wanting to, at the very least, feed them. And she was the type to give someone the shirt off of her back. So that's just how I live my life. I love to give back to my community. I love to serve my community. I love the ministry. That's me.
So that is who Ashley McDonald is.
Yes, just a giver, a server.
And I was going to say, the Word of God tells us that it's better to give than to receive.
Yes.
And so you were given the foundation of giving from your mother. That's such a great foundation that she set for you. And I'm so happy that you shared that part of you, because people, they want to know that. They want to know, what is it about this person that I should vote for? Why should I vote for this person? So I want to ask you next, what has inspired you to run for ECUA in District 3?
I love that question. So the main thing that inspired me was the lack of leadership for that position. And I'm not meaning the previous incumbent who had it, who was Mr. Elvin McCorvey. He passed away in February of 2019, which was very sad because Mr. McCorvey served his community in so many different ways for such a long time. It was the fact that we didn't have any representation in our district for about 9 months after he passed away. So the governor is supposed to appoint someone to that position when there is a vacant seat. So I tried emailing, calling, sending letters, social media, trying to reach out through social media to the governor to see about District 3 getting some representation, because the ECUA board was passed or going over and about to vote for the 2020 to 2024 budget. And I wanted to make sure that my community had the resources that we needed. So with seeing all of that and us not having that representation, and those other board members did have to move forward with the process to go ahead and get that approved. And I will say they did do a couple of things for District 3, but when you have a voice championing for you, that makes a big difference. We may have been able to get more. So us not having any representation for those 9 months is what really inspired me to just go ahead and run.
Wow, I didn't know that. So that's definitely a good reason to step in and be the voice for District 3. I want to ask you this because I was having a conversation with someone on yesterday, and I was telling them how excited I was to be interviewing you this morning. And they asked the question, well, what exactly does that position do, or what does that role entail? Can you educate the audience on exactly what this role is all about, what you will be fulfilling in this role?
Absolutely. The quick answer is just a voice for the community in regards to our trash, sewage, and water services through ECUA. But just to give a little bit more detail, the ECUA board members get to vote on rate increases. They get to vote on awarding different bids. So, for example, one of the things I really want to do is make sure that Black businesses, Black contractors get these resources and are able to make bids on the different projects that ECUA is going to be doing. We have a capital improvement budget of about $318 million. So I want to make sure that some of those bids and those opportunities go to minority businesses in our area, because we had some projects in the past where they unfortunately just weren't able to get those contracts. And I'm not sure if it was because of just lack of knowledge or, something along those lines, but I just want to make sure that we're involved in that, and we also get a chance to, give back to our community through the service and get paid for those great services. So you get to vote on that. ECUA also gets to help the community, for example, with impact fees. The board can vote whether or not they're going to make you kind of pay that fee or maybe reduce that fee. It's a lot of things that the board gets to vote on. They also get to vote on who the executive director is for ECUA, and that is pretty much the person who is going to run be over all of the operations of ECUA, from your trash pickup all the way up to making sure the water quality in our aquifer is right and the treatment of that water is being done properly. So the board is really hands-on as far as all of the services and all of the people involved at ECUA. So it's really just your voice to make sure you're getting the right services, that your rates aren't always going up for no reason, and that ECUA also operates within the budget. The board also gets to vote on the budget for the years.
Wow. So you just educated myself on some things that I did not know. And the Bible tells us that my people perish for lack of knowledge. This is things that we need to know about, and we need to know, when we're voting, why it's so important to pick the right candidate.
Yes.
That's going to do the right things for the community. What are some other issues that you may have recognized in District 3 that has been happening since there has not been a voice for the people?
Well, I'll say this, while going out to the community, even before campaigning, and I don't know if I said this already or not, but I am a real estate agent. Okay. So my clients, I get very involved in that process of making sure they're able to hook up with ECUA, get their services transferred over, just that general education on that, but also taking it a step further. And for example, if they have a septic tank in their home, seeing about if there is a sewer hookup line available on the street that their new house is on. So with that being said, the different things that I have seen in the community in regards to ECUA, I believe that we need to convert more homes from septic tank to public sewer. Septic tanks are very, very expensive to maintain, to replace, and in some instances, you have to pay to pull a permit in order to check out the septic tank.
Wow.
So that's hundreds of dollars. Last time that happened to one of my clients, that was almost about $300 that they had to pay just to inspect it. So I want to take that burden off of all of the residents who don't want that septic tank anymore to be able to hook up to public sewer. Also with septic tanks, it can have a negative impact on our environment. So for example, sometimes with septic tanks, if it's not properly maintained or you just don't have the resources to maintain it, sometimes the septic tank can get cracks in it, holes in it, and that raw sewage can end up backing up into your yard. It can affect your neighbors, the community around you.
Wow.
So that's just a really big deal for me. Number one, for the residents, just for their overall quality of life, because I don't feel like you need to have to continue to pay to maintain such an expensive thing when your resources are already limited. And then also for our environment, we want to make sure we're doing everything we can to make sure we still have a lovely environment for our kids, grandkids, so on and so forth. The next thing is the water quality. I'm originally from Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. I've been living here for about 9 years now, and I've been loving every second of it. That's why I decided to stay. Me and my husband, we bought a house in District 3. I love this area, but I could tell the difference in the water quality.
Really?
I really could. And at first I thought that, okay, maybe it's the source of where the water is coming from, meaning our aquifer. But actually the water quality that we have here in Pensacola is actually one of the best. They test the water regularly. They treat the water regularly. They have to go through an extensive process to make sure the water is up to the proper standards.
Okay.
With that being said, though, once the water gets to some residents, it's questionable. It smells funny. It looks funny. Sometimes they do advisories to let the folks in certain areas know you need to boil your water for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, because the water quality isn't good. And it just goes back to the infrastructure. The water lines themselves are damaged, they're old, they get cracks in them, and that is how that water is able to get contaminated. So I know sometimes with the discussion about the water quality for our area is that just the water in general is bad. Well, no, the water itself is really not bad. They do what they're supposed to do for the water because there are regulations and guidelines they have to be within, or they get fines for that. It is the actual infrastructure, the cracks in it, everything with that. So I want to replace those old water lines. I don't just want to repair them, I want to replace them, because we need those new fresh water lines to make sure everyone is getting a good quality of water. Good water is essential for your quality of life, because we use water in everything. You know what I mean? Some folks even need to use the water for making their baby's formula. And you want to make sure your kids are receiving the proper nutrients they need to, and not some odd contaminated water. So that's a really big thing for me. And then finally, educating the community on the resources available to them. So for folks on limited incomes, for example, with a Social Security income, not a lot of folks know that there is a program that ECUA has that you can get onto, and that helps to lower your bill. Now with that program, the things you get a smaller trash can, just meaning they don't have to pick up such a big load for you, and different things like that. They just adjust it for you because they realize you're not using as many resources as, let's say, a family of 4 across the street from you. And that's really good for our elderly residents on those fixed limited incomes, because we want to make sure that they're living a great quality of life as well. So those type of resources for our residents. And then also going back to what I said about making sure the contracts that ECUA awards to different businesses around, making sure those minority businesses get a piece of that, and they're able to bid on these contracts, get these contracts, and continue to make our community better.
Wow. I can hear your heart and everything that you're sharing, and I appreciate how knowledgeable you are, how informed you are, because a lot of the things that you're sharing I did not know. And so I want you to take this moment to look at the camera and tell the people why they should vote for Ashley McDonald.
Absolutely. So I am asking you, all the residents of District 3, please give me a chance to represent you, to be a voice for you, to make sure that I advocate for you while sitting on the board, and then taking that a step further and continuing to go out to the community. I won't stop right here with the door knocking, with the phone calls. I'm going to continue to do that even with getting this position, because I feel like this one way of getting information out is not always the best way. So I want to put in more sweat equity for you and work hard for you every day day to continue to make our area, District 3, a better place. I plan on working with the other elected officials to make things happen for our community, to bring resources back to our community so that we can all have a better quality of life in District 3. So I believe that you should vote for me, Ashley McDonald, for your ECUA District 3 representative. I want to work for you and I want to serve you. Thank you.
Well, amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Ashley, for coming on to The Truth, sharing your knowledge with us. I'm telling you, you have really just opened my eyes to a lot of things that I did not know. And this makes me want to just go do some more research. It does. But I thank you so much for sharing your truth, sharing your information here on The Truth.
Absolutely.
Thank you again for tuning into The Truth Conversations No One Likes to Have. Again, I'm your host, Minister Shawana Smiley. Listen, before you click off of this video, like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.